All right, so check this out. As SmackDown concludes, the Washington Mystics have clinched their first ever WNBA Finals berth. Can you believe that SmackDown 1000 will be in DC, which could also possibly be the home of the NHL World Champions and the WNBA World Champions, all in the same year? How cool would that be?
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. Hey, things are looking good in DC. Obviously, we're not there yet at SmackDown 1000, but I thought it was pretty cool that, in the same year that SmackDown celebrates a historic episode which will take place in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., there's a possibility that they could have three champions, two of them in major sports, because we can't omit the Arena Football League also won the championship. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get right into SmackDown. We're going to start with the main event tonight. Featured two former tag partners. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, R-Truth was in the main event taking on his former tag partner, The Miz. Now, you've been watching R-Truth, you'll know that dude is funny. He was going around all day looking for his soon-to-be mixed tag match challenge partner. That is the one and only former WWE SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Carmella. So he was going around looking for her, and, upon stumbling across her, he stumbled across Maurice, who he thought was Carmella, and that was R-Truth just being R-Truth because he had Ty Dillinger with him. Now, one of the things that was funny was Miz told him, "Don't you ever talk to my wife like that again." And Ty Dillinger was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he said, "I just got myself in the main event of the show." And it was just funny because what we saw was that the OG telling the young guy, trying to make, Ty Dillinger somebody trying to come on up in the world of professional wrestling on the main roster. Kind of told him, like, "Look, you may think I'm being silly all the time, but I know exactly what I'm doing." Nonetheless, he was in the main event, and he was victorious thanks to Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella coming out there distracting The Miz. So, how did we get there? Beginning of the show, you open up with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. As you know, last week they were assaulted by Miz and Maurice, and they wasn't, happy with that. Unfortunately, The Miz and Maurice decided they was going to cut an empty arena promo on the two, and they did this before the show even began. Like I said before, the arena was completely empty, which just goes to show you something different that The Miz and Maurice figure out what they can do. The Miz is somebody who's obviously just on top of his game. Right now, he's at the point where everything he touches gold, and it's been that way, honestly, probably the past 18 months. Nonetheless, he and Maurice said they were going out on a date, and Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella said, well, guess what? They were going to go find them. Unfortunately, they didn't have to wreck any restaurants in Detroit where they were located, because Miz and Maurice never really left, or if they did, they got back in time. And Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella would go ahead and take care of business. But it's, that's the match that we're going to get at Hell in a Cell. We're going to get the tag match. And it's going to be, it's going to be a solid match in my opinion. Yeah, I was just happy, as I said this last couple of weeks, happy that we're not getting Daniel Bryan and The Miz one-on-one inside the cell. So, moving on. Also, on SmackDown, we saw AJ Styles and Samoa Joe go at it again. Joe he continues to do it each and every week. He's continued to, call out Wendy Jones, AJ Styles' wife, and AJ Styles just isn't happy. You don't mention that man's wife. He went out there and he started beating him up, and he took care of business until Paige got involved and, sent the authorities down there. But boy, when this comes to an epic clash, it's going to be crazy. I would love for this match to take place inside the cell, but I wouldn't be surprised if the two guys said, you know what, we don't want to deal with that. But one of the matches that will take place in the cell, which we saw a promo for, and that was Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. So I'm looking, I believe Jeff Hardy did say this was one of the matches that he wanted to have, and no better opponent than Randy Orton. I can't remember the last time Randy Orton was in a Hell in a Cell. So this could be, a match that could be a potential classic, because it's not often we get Orton in the Cell. He's not like Triple H and Undertaker, where those guys are synonymous with the Hell in a Cell. Obviously Mick Foley, but Undertaker and Triple H have had amongst the most matches. Actually, Undertaker has passed because he did have a match with Lesnar and Shane McMahon. But we're getting Randy Orton inside the cell. We're getting Jeff Hardy inside the cell. And we know those two are going to do crazy things. Randy Orton's sadistic and Jeff Hardy's a daredevil. So that could steal the show. I'm going to go ahead and take my first break. Got a word from one of my good friends.
Yo, this is 2 Chainz of the Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast, and you are now listening to Break It Down with Brian H. Waters, brought to you by The Wrestling Round.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you know, the Mae Young Classic is coming up. So you just heard from the Big Gold Belt Podcast. They were there in attendance. So I'm not going to, give any spoilers, but I do want to let you know that if you want if you want to hear some spoilers, you want to hear about the Classic, what it was like from guys who were there, make sure you check out their podcast on YouTube as well as SoundCloud. Make sure you check it out. But moving on, speaking of the Mae Young Classic, and we'll stick with the women. Naomi finally getting some help. So, I wrote the article, and I mentioned this on Wrestling for the Culture this past week, which you can find on youtube.com/thewrestlingrealm. I mentioned that Naomi's going to need some help. She posted a tweet and an Instagram post. Last week we saw her earlier this week, we saw her reach out to Cameron. Then we saw Bianca Belair. Cameron responded, her former Funkadactyls Parker. Bianca Belair responded, said, "Sis, I got you." If Asuka responded, I didn't, but Asuka was the one that would help her. So Naomi was victorious finally over one half of the Iconics, Peyton Royce. But as soon as the match was over, Billie Kay jumped in and they both beat her up. But then Asuka's music hit, and Asuka would come out there and clean house. And it's been made official as the close of the show that at the Super Show, we're going to get Asuka and Naomi taking on the Iconics. We're also going to get the New Day taking on the Bar. So the New Day, which is interesting. They made a match, and the reason why I say that, because if you going right into the tag team match, the Rusev Day, they defeated Sanity and the Usos this week on Smackdown. After they defeated them, they will take on the Bar. Then the winner of that match will take on the New Day at Hell in a Cell. So it's interesting that they made that match. Now I have to say, SmackDown has done a better job at not trying to push two of the shows back to back, not trying to push the Super Show as well as Hell in a Cell. It's like, no, let's focus on one. So I'm all types of confused though. I don't know how they're gonna do this. I do believe Hell in a Cell is first. I have to double check. So we know October 6th is the Super Show. So and I'm just reaching, just want to check the date, because I would think that Hell in a Cell is actually is in September. Again, I could be wrong. But, well, nonetheless, I'm pretty sure somebody out there tweet me at Brian H. Waters the correction. So, moving on, WWE announced that they are bringing back the Mixed Match Challenge. So, I mean, it was okay to me. I not gonna say I loved it, not gonna say I hated it. It was something to watch, after SmackDown go off. I might pull out my phone, watch it on Facebook. But, so here are some of the teams. I'm gonna go ahead and list the teams. On Raw, we got we got the returning Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss team. Little Big, that was the team I thought that was gonna win last year. Unfortunately, they didn't. But we saw the budding romance, so to speak. But also we got Bobby Lashley and Sasha Banks. That should be interesting. Finn Balor and Bayley. That's be a lot of hugging right there. Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. And, of course, Kevin Owens and Natalya. I think I might be looking forward to that the most. Yeah, go ahead and put the two people who are from Canada together. I think that's pretty cool. From SmackDown Live, we have the winners from last year, The Miz and Asuka. We have Jimmy Uso and Naomi, Rusev and Lana. And then they're putting AJ Styles and Charlotte together. So we remember last year, Charlotte was with Bobby Roode. Not this year. And then R-Truth and Carmella. So R-Truth has been looking for Carmella. Now she's going to be his partner. So I'm interested to see how that turns out. So overall, the Mixed Match Challenge should be good. I'm going to just go ahead and give an early prediction. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to go out on a limb with this one. And let me make sure I think about it. I'm going to go with Lana and Rusev. I think Rusev Day is over. I think they will be tag team champions soon. Rusev and Aiden English. I think they're going to go ahead and beat the New Day, and they'll be put over. But I think they're going to win the Mixed Match Challenge. And then for the Mae Young Classic, I'm going to go with Toni Storm. I know there's some spoilers out there, but that's going to be my pick. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. As always, I appreciate you tuning in to Break It Down with Brian H. Make sure you subscribe to all the Wrestling Realm content and share the episode with a friend. And then when you share it, let me know and I'll give you a shout out. I want to give, shout out to all my friends in the Black Journalist group chats who may not be wrestling fans, but they share this show with their fellow friends who they know are wrestling fans. So I really appreciate that. So until the next time, folks, so long, everybody.